Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video on the channel, and it is Christmas in Encore today. It is literally the greatest day for poker in Boston so far up until this point. Right now it is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving Eve. Huge high hand promo going on at Encore. They're giving away $60,000 freaking dollars today. $2,000 every 20 minutes for the high hand bonuses. Just need aces full of deuces, and you need both cards to play. And yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Running from noon to 10 p.m. So we are in for a long session today. So right now it's about 10 a.m. 2 hours before the promo starts, and the room is already packed. We're already stuck in the worst traffic ever right now going through the tunnel. It's really dumb, but hoping to get there soon, and we're gonna be on the waiting list right now. The last time I checked, there's about 13 tables running, 50-60 people on the waiting list right now at 10 o'clock. It's still 2 hours before the high hand bonus, so, and that's just the 1-3 game. I think the 2-5 game has like 10 tables open, or 10 tables running, and once again, like 50 people on that list. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We gotta get there. We're about 20 minutes out with this traffic, so hopefully we can get there soon, get on the list, wait, and I'm sure gonna run into a lot of you guys there. So it'll be a good time. If there was ever a day to hit quads or just aces full and hold up somehow, this is the day. $2,000 would be very nice for the bankroll. Yeah, all I said this whole month when that promo was going on, it was just, I gotta hit one. Just hit one, and it's a nice little bump to the bankroll. Helps minimize or cover the losses I had in the past couple months. So that's all I'm rooting for. That's all we're looking for. Gonna be a really good time. I'm gonna play some 1-3 because the games are gonna be really freaking good. So anyways, let's get on with it. I'll probably try to capture some footage if possible about the room and the atmosphere because it's gonna be crazy. But anyways, let's get to Encore. Update, just got here, and there's 120 people on the 1-3 list, so we're gonna run up, get on the list. I think there's like 70, 80 people on the 2-5, so it's packed. Let's do it.
For this month, and it's going to be $2,000 every 20 minutes. Dealers, please start tracking hands now.
We waited about an hour to finally get seated for some tables to open up, and we finally got seated right before the high hand promo started, so we got there just in time. So let's go and grind a pretty long session. The first hand that we'll go over here, we're about like 30 minutes, an hour into the session, and we look down at ace-10 of clubs in early position. The undergun +1 and undergun player limp, and here just gonna raise things up to $18. Obviously with the high hand promo, everyone is going to be very limp happy. I raised to 18 and both of them make the call, so we are off to a flop 3 ways. Flop comes king 7-8, 2 clubs out there. So we flop the nut flush draw and also maybe a backdoor straight draw as well. Action checks to me, C betting this all the time. I bet $25 and only the player to my right makes the call. She has me covered and she has been playing for value and pretty tight so far. So I'm going to hopefully drill the flush draw and see what happens. The turn is pretty decent. It is the 5 of clubs, so we get there. She checks to me here, gonna bet for value all the time. I bet $55 and once again, she doesn't think too long before making the call. We are off to a river. The river comes the ace of spades. So here it's not actually a great card. I think a lot of 1-pair king X hands are going to hate this card and kill a lot of action. So she checks to me, and here, I mean, obviously I got a bet, and I go for a middling sizing of $130. Hoping that she has a hand that can make the call, and she calls actually really quickly, sitting with the essential nuts, or really the second nuts because the straight flush got there, but ace high flush, we're feeling pretty good about it. We show it and she mucks, so we take it down. Next hand is a high hand that we play. Yeah, that's all I can say. Not plus EV, but we played it because we can, and you know, whatever. We have 3 deuce of hearts. So 3 deuce of hearts in early position. 2 limpers to me here. Screw it. Why not? Let's throw in $3 and limp as well. The player to my left, MK, who watches the channel, shout out to you. He raises to $16, and a undergun player, limp, calls, and here I'm going to close out the action and just toss in the extra $13 as well. We're off to a flop 3 ways with a very suspect hand. The flop comes ace-4-5 rainbow. What a flop. Oh my god, we just flop it. Sometimes when you play these hands, you just have to flop it sometimes and try really hard to do so. So action check to me. I'm going to check here. This board really favors the player to my left who raised pre-flop, has a lot of ace X's in his range. He bets $20. The limper folds, and here just going to flat right now. It's a rainbow board, and we'll see what the turn comes. The turn comes the deuce of clubs, and not a really good card at all. Almost kills some action potentially, but it does bring in a backdoor flush draw. I check once again, and he bets $25. It's really small, so you're just going to put in the check raise, get some money in now, go for some value, even though the turn card's pretty bad. I check raise the $65, and it's small enough for just a one-pair hand to call once and evaluate a river. Really hoping I can get some value here, but it is definitely an action-killing turn card. He ends up tanking for a little bit and ends up making the call, so we are off to a river, which is a 6. Jesus, this board cannot get any worse. Well, I go ahead and lead here. I bet a sizing of $100. It seems a little too big. Ace-X hands are just going to have to fold to this disgusting board. And he doesn't make the crying call. He ends up laying it down. Later told me he had pocket kings, so a little bit loose of a call on the turn by him. But yeah, maybe if I bet like $25, I get some value, but that's about it. Quick break in the video. Just wanted to announce this really quickly for you guys. Throwing some graphics on the screen right now. The tournament app that I work with called Poker Bros is literally having the largest and biggest tournament series ever. $500,000 guaranteed in prize pools for a whole week of massive tournaments. Super, super fun. If you haven't checked it out already, definitely email me. It is orampage@gmail.com. Find it in the description, find it on the screen. Shoot me an email if you're interested. I highly recommend it. Super fun tournaments, super large player pool, and the cash games are pretty great too. So definitely just want to let you guys know if you want more information. Like I said, I'll hook it up. Email me. Next thing we get into, we have King 10 of diamonds in the small blind. A middle position player limps. He also watches the channel. Ravi, shout out to you. I met a ton of you guys today, which is crazy. And I go ahead and raise it up to $17 when action folds to me here. Pretty strong hand, out of position unfortunately, but he ends up making the call. So let's go to a flop, heads up. Flop comes king high. It's king 9-5 rainbow. Here with top pair, I really like this board, but I just check, inducing him to bet, taking an alternate line here in this hand just because I know he watches the channel, has a fairly good idea of how I play, and we're just going to check here. He unfortunately doesn't bet, and we're going to a turn, which is the 9 of clubs, backdoor flush draw in there. Once again, taking the alternate line, I check, knowing that he can bet a lot of the time with air and bluff at this. And here at top pair, I'm feeling pretty confident. So I check, and he checks it back once again. So not sure what's going on, but I mean, top pair, I'm going to have to bet the river here. Probably miss some value. The river is a 7. I go ahead and lead out for $30. He raises to 75, which is really small. Top pair, and this line just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, so I just toss in the extra $45 to call his raise, and he shows king queen offsuit. So really weird line by the both of us. I'm just not really sure what that was all about, but he had the hand that beat me. So nice hand, Ravi. This next spot here, queen jack of hearts under the gun. I open things up to $15, and only the cutoff makes the call. Same player from last hand, Ravi, he watches the channel. So we are off to a flop here, still out of position. Flop comes 4-5-9, 2 diamonds out there, and I just go ahead and c-bet $20. He thinks and makes the call. The turn is an 8, so actually a pretty good card for us as we improve to a gutter ball, including our 2 overs. I go ahead and bet $45, and here, once again, he makes the call. So we're off to a river, which is a deuce of spades here, and this time he has been calling and been thinking, I don't know, for some reason I just thought that he was pretty weak, and I thought I could triple barrel him if I missed my gut shot. So with absolutely no showdown value with queen high, I tried to just go for it. I bet a pretty small amount, trying to just get hands with nothing to call, maybe drawing hands, drawing diamonds, stuff like that. So I bet $75 if he has like top 2 pair now, or if he has like top 2 pair or just top pair. I know he has to call all the time, and you know, I'm kind of saving money long term. I'm kind of saving money with this bluff here, if that makes any sense, but just know that if he has a drawing hand, there's no way he can call this or raise this. So I bet $75. He thinks for a little bit and ends up making the call. I tell him that he's good, and he shows pocket 5s for flopped middle set, and just got the full 3 streets of value from me, unfortunately. Following hand, we have ace king offsuit in middle position. There are 3 limpers to me, and here going to raise things up on the bigger side to $25. The button 3-bets me to $50, basically a min 3-bets, and he only has a small amount behind. It folds all the way back to me, and here with ace-king off, out of position, this is a hand we can just race with. He is pretty short, about $130 effective in his stack, so we go ahead and just put him all in, expecting him to call all the time, especially when he 3-bets super small here. So I just go ahead and jam $133 effective. He makes the call. So let's just go to a board and see what happens. The flop comes 3, 5, 7, 2 spades. The turns and rivers are no help. It's an 8 and a 9. So spade draw gets there, I guess. But he ends up showing pocket aces, and we do not improve at all. So we lose that. Fortunate turn of events there. Shortly after, we have pocket 10s in the small blind, and they're 3 limpers to me. I raise things up to $20, and only the button makes the call. Play to my right. Once again, she's been playing pretty tight and playing pretty much at the top of her range, basically. So we're going to go to a flop, which comes queen, jack, 7, rainbow. Pretty disgusting board for pocket 10s, and here out of position, I just check. She goes ahead and bets $30, and I just fold real quick. I am so far up to this point, I am in the game for $820, and I am tilted. We're playing for about 4 hours so far up to this point. I'm stuck about 500. I'm not feeling great about this, and I'm getting a little annoyed right now with how bad I'm running / how bad I'm playing. So after that pocket 10s hand, a few hours have passed into the next spot that I'll go over. We've been crawling around to a stack of about $600, so nothing major to really report, just a lot of small hands and really insignificant action, but been chipping up a little bit here and there. And the current table that I was on for the past 4, 5, 6 hours-ish, ended up filling with about 4 out of the 8 other players who watched my videos, and as much as I want to play with you guys, I'm really trying to play with people who don't know how I play and don't have a ton of information on me. So I go ahead, switch tables, and onto this new table. One of the first hands I look down at, I have pocket queens in middle position with a stack about 600. Here, not really sure of what the player dynamics are like, so I just raise to a standard sizing of $15, and we get 2 callers from the blinds. So we are off to a flop, which comes 3, 4, 3 rainbow. Action checks to me, overpair here, gonna have to bet. I bet $25. The small blind makes the call, and the big blind raises to $75. Weird spot to raise, but definitely seems like it's for value. Putting him on some sort of overpair right now, because I think a 3 would just flat this and try to get more value later on. But $75, definitely not folding with queens. He could have any hand from pocket 5s up to jacks. So I flat the $75 raise, and the small blind makes the call as well. And when the small blind calls, it's really weird and interesting. Not expecting him to come along unless he has a 3 or a pretty strong hand. But we're going to a turn, which is the 8 of diamonds, bringing in a backdoor flush draw of diamonds. Small blind checks. The big blind jams his stack. It's $198 total. And here I just go into the tank. Pocket queens, it's a really gross spot, it seems like. Definitely for sure eliminating any kind of bluffs in his range, unless something like 6, 7 of diamonds, 5, 6 of diamonds, but that doesn't make any sense on the flop raising there. So really it's only over pairs or a 3. And that's really the only hands that I can put him on. So I definitely can get a ton of value from basically pocket 9s to jacks. Pretty small range there, and he has a ton of 3s in his range. So especially when he's in the big blind as well. So I am just not good enough yet to fold this. I've tanked for a while, almost really wanted to fold, because it seems like he has a 3 all the time, or maybe even the small blind could have a 3 because he still yet to act. So in this weird middling position here, though, pocket queens still at the top of my range. I opt to just call the $200. The small blind fold gets out of the way, and the river is a 10 of hearts. He asks me if I had pocket aces when I called, so that seems like a pretty bad sign, but no way he has kings, right? He flips him over. He has freaking pocket kings. What? Like, what? What? I don't know. That was my initial live reaction. I don't know what the hell was going on. How does he roll over pocket kings in that situation? Just not good enough to fold. Really put him on just a 3x hand for value, but there's really not he's in the big blind, so there's a ton of 3x's in his range, but he had kings, which is really disgusting and gross. So we lose that one of the first hands. We're off to a rough start at this new table. Last thing that we'll go over, we have 5-6 of spades in the hijack, and there's an on the gun straddle. I go ahead and open limp in this spot. Not really a play that I recommend. Really just want to open raise this all the time, especially with the straddle on. But 3 others limp to the on the gun straddle player, and he raises to $31. Here, I've seen this player just be really active, and it just seemed like he's squeezing a lot of the time. He's also the same player from last hand. He was the small blind, and not really sure what he called that $75 raise there on the flop if he didn't have a 3. So I call his $31 raise. It seems like he's squeezing, and I'm in position at least, and I can play that. And I am the only caller. So we're off to a flop heads up in position. The flop comes queen 7-4 rainbow, 1 spade out there. So open-ended, backdoor spades draw. He leads out for $55. And actually to me, I think a lot of the time I'd call this, but given the fact that I think he's super active and I think he's just trying to barrel me off this hand right now, especially with that really big sizing for no reason. Like, that sizing doesn't make a lot of sense at all if he has a queen, right? Like, go for value, not anything else. So when he bets 55, I'm really short. I probably like this play better if I was a lot deeper, but I raised to $150 here, leaving myself about $100 behind. Basically a semi-bluff and just not really thinking he has a hand. He basically snap jams, and I am forced to call this. He covers me, $100 more to call. I'm feeling really gross about it, but we're hoping to hit our straight draw, and that's about it. And we do have the backdoor flush draw to go along with it, so let's see what happens. I have to call the $100 extra, and we are off to a turn, which is the queen of spades. Really good card. Now we have a bunch of outs. The river is a 9 of hearts, so we totally break out. He shows ace queen offsuit, so he had it that time. Given my read and given my assessment of the scenario, just didn't think he had it, and I had enough equity to go ahead and just push. I was wrong, I missed, and that was a pretty bad day in session. So I'm disappointed, to say the least. Busto, we're out. We played for 7.5 hours on a day that I was really looking forward to, and just couldn't get going. A lot of pretty good action, I think. Just the table change really fucked me sideways, so it was crazy. I only sat at that second table for like 30 minutes and tilted off after the queen's hand for sure. I think my raise there on that flop with 4-5 or 5-6, whatever the fuck it was, the draw, the open-ender that I had, that was unfortunate. That was a little bit of a tilt, and I had to just call once I was there. Just thought he was raising light, betting light, didn't believe him, and we paid the price for it. So that wasn't smart for us. Really brutal day. Disappointed, discouraged, to say the least. Played for 7.5 hours, and we lose probably their biggest losing day in a while, I think. We've had a lot of consistent losing days, but today, just one of the biggest losses, and that's just unfortunate. Anyways, you guys are watching this after Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we can not punt off and run a little bit better, unlike today, unfortunately. I think we were never going to have a winning session today given the situations and runouts, but I definitely could have limited it. Didn't limit it this time. One of the things I guess got to do, just got to accept the losses and move on. That's unfortunate. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.